Talofa everyone, my name is Victor Vito. I am All Black 1103 and this is my trophy cabinet. Okay, so what I got here, I got my 2011 World Cup ring. The reason this one is so special to me is because I wasn't even in the World Cup frame, to be fair. 2010, end of that season, I got dropped. 2011, didn't even make Tri-Nations team. Playing NPC, and for some reason they called me up and said, hey, we want to rest up Richie, a few other guys, we need someone to come along to Africa. And I was like, oh man, like happy days, but of course I'll do that. So I went along, helped out with the test. We didn't win it in Port Elizabeth. And then the next day they did the announcements and my name got read out. And I literally just thought, what the, I came here to help out, like just fill in for these guys, give them their rest before the World Cup. And yet here I was now getting announced in the squad. So I went from telling my mum, I'll see you home soon, I'm coming back up on the next flight, to, oh man, I'm going to Australia to play the next test. I think just the whole up and down nature of this game, I think, and then obviously winning this at the end of 2011 with some of the legends of the game, I think it just sort of puts it all in perspective and sort of summarises the life of a rugby player, I guess. This one I want to speak about is our 2015 World Cup win. Yeah, it's special again because I knew by the time I'd headed off to the World Cup, I'd already signed to go overseas. And I knew that no team had done it back-to-back as well. We wanted to be the most dominant team ever as an All Black squad. And we knew that 2011 was tough, but we knew that 2015 was going to be tougher in different ways. Everyone had our targets on our backs and everyone wanted to beat us. And so to start off our first game against Argentina was a tough game. And then actually the rest of it was a bit of a blur because the team, the guys I had, obviously you got Kevin Mialamu, you got Ma'anonu, you got Jerome Kaino, you got all these legends, obviously Richie and Dan. I think just the way that we were able to send those legends off and win back-to-back comps, World Cups, I think is just something that I'll never forget, and something that really helped me leave New Zealand, knowing that I'd given my best, left the jersey in a better space, and something I'll never forget. Yeah, and I guess, 2015, we said goodbye to a lot of legends of the game. Obviously, we had Richie and Dan playing their last game. I think Dan, especially when I think about him, 2011, that was meant to be his, his revenge of sorts. But then obviously he had his injury, and to see someone that was so integral, yes, we won 2011, but I know he's a competitor, eh? So 2015, for him to be able to kick that drop kick with his wrong foot and be able to be the man of the moment, pretty much, for him to send him off like that, it was awesome. Richie last game, Jerome, Kevin. And obviously Ma had his 100th as well in Newcastle against Tonga, I think it was. I think sending off all those legends the way we did, and Conrad Smith as well, it was just, I was in there as well. Obviously I was leaving, but I wouldn't put myself as a legend, There's levels to this stuff, even I can appreciate that. But I will always be forever humbled that I took part in a team that was so dominant and really sort of set the bar for what All Blacks excellence was all about. So here I have my 2015 World Cup winners medal. Yeah, this again, just the importance of actually being, we always talked about being the most dominant team to have ever played the game, in any sport actually, not just the rugby. So getting this back-to-back World Cup win for us just sort of cemented the fact that we would be one of the greats. We would be remembered for doing something that hadn't been done before. And again, I think, saying, like I said, saying farewell to so many legends of the game and guys that had given so much, so many centurions. I never felt so much focus and sort of power, especially in the quarterfinal against France. I think with a lot of guys that have played at that 2007 game where they got knocked out by the French, same field, same kind of stage in the competition. I think the focus that we had that week to actually beat them the way we did, I think that was what kind of led on to the fact that we kind of knew deep down that this was meant for us. As much as we respect the opposition 100%, we just felt like this needed to be our time. So made it, yeah, very special. And obviously my last game in the All Blacks jersey, that's another reason why it was so special for me. I knew I wasn't going to play again after that because I was heading overseas the next season. So yeah, this medal means a lot. So this piece I've got here is the 2016 Super Rugby trophy, or the cup that we got with the Hurricanes when we won. Man, so many emotions running through me right now thinking about this championship. I think obviously it was the first, but even before that in 2015, we had a final against the Highlanders. The year before we had our legends Ma, Conrad, you know, other guys like Ben Franks, Jeremy Thrush, all leaving. And we had won 10 straight games or something heading into this final. We'd beaten the Highlanders twice before, but in the final, we lost, obviously, that final, and it broke us. I didn't even leave home for about 4 days just to get a coffee down the road, actually. So, for context, winning this in 16, doing it for all those legends that we couldn't have done it for the year before, I think, just amazing. And personally, my 100th game as well, actually. It was my 100th game to have my family there, and I knew it was going to be my last game for the Hurricanes, heading over to France in 2 weeks with my family. This meant so much. It's the team that I always looked up to, guys like Jerry, Rodney, Chris Masoi, all these guys, Thomas Waldrum even, like just all the guys that I sort of looked up to, idolized, and to finally get one of these for our club just meant the world. And just to do it just before I was leaving as well, I just felt a real peace about being able to leave, knowing that, again, the jersey's in a better place and our club's finally got one. So the road to winning this cup here, we actually we were having a decent season, but I think we were still sitting around 3rd or 4th, which might have meant that in the last round robin we were sitting 3rd or 4th, so we needed to go to the Crusaders and beat them with a bonus point to give ourselves a chance to be top. And then also we needed all these other results to go our way for us to stay at home. And we knew teams that travel, having to go to Africa or whatever, like your chances just go down. So we knew how important their game was, but doing it in Christchurch, in their home, in their home pitch, never going to be easy. But, somehow the boys pulled it together and managed to get a bonus point win over them. We sent them actually over to Africa. They didn't come back. So that was exactly what we wanted, because obviously, they've got some great finals experience, and if there was a team you don't want to be meeting in those situations in that semi and final phase, it's them. So awesome for us to have gotten that win over them. And then the rest is history, quarters or semis, we had the Chiefs. Quarters before that, we had the Sharks, and then in the final was the Lions. And it just, with the horrible welly weather, like literally these poor African boys came to play in our horrible sideways rain, the wind was blowing. It was like, thank you, Lord, like literally just trying to help us play to our strengths. So yeah, big build up to this one, but really important that we won that Crusaders game, because they kind of set us up after that with the belief as well. So this one here is our Heineken Cup, or the Champions Cup, the European Champions of the Year, with my club La Rochelle. In my last game as a La Rochelle guy as well, over there in, where were we playing? We were playing in Marseille in France. So we had a final against Leinster, who was literally pretty much the Irish team. We had Johnny Sexton, Josh Van der Fleer, like all these guys that are playing some pretty amazing rugby. And just for our team to have won it in the 81st minute with a try to our halfback, who was actually leaving that year as well, I think, it was an experience that was pretty unreal. Like knowing that I've been in my last game for the All Blacks, last game for the Hurricanes, last game, just being with the La Rochelle boys, getting this medal, first ever title for them as well. So it was another maiden title for them. They never won anything before. And then we finally got this. I just feel really blessed to have been a part of all these great teams, and have played a little hand in being able to get them over my 6 years. It's been a struggle, been a big struggle. When I first got there, we were doing gym sessions that were only 20 minutes and guys breaking off for smoko. Whereas now, like, professional outfit, one of the best teams in the world, club-wise. So, this one means a lot. So this one here is our European Cup victory with La Rochelle, best club in Europe. And this one was real special for me in a really different way, because I was actually playing some of my best footy heading into the final, but we needed one more league game in the French competition. We weren't doing so well. So they were like, look, Vic, we need you and one other guy, Joe Dante, to go in front the boys. We'll take you off at halftime, because obviously we've got the final next week. I was like, sweet. Anyway, went and played, got to halftime. We were only ahead by like 8 points or something. I was like, Coach, am I off now? And he was like, I think just give us 5 more minutes. 2 minutes into that game before this final, I got a guy, I called it kick-off, went around the corner, a guy rolled my ankle, he came and tackled me, rolled my ankle, another guy came over top. Anyway, long story short, all of a sudden, I was out for this game. And I think the emotions that went through, like knowing I'd done 6 years, and the guys, all of a sudden, they were like, oh man, there's no way, like all that stuff I was going through. But I had to quickly change from being selfish about my situation and all that, to going and remembering my roots about having to serve the jersey, serve the boys, So quickly I put together a little presentation about pressure, everything I'd learned in the ABs about walking towards pressure, everything I learned about using the breath to reset ourselves, because we'd never had, this is the biggest game of our lives. And some of the boys I could tell were pretty gutted. You know, it was myself and Tawere Kubalu were out as well, two of the big leaders of the team. So this means more because I know that it was perfect time, knowing that it was going to be my last game anyway, that the club were ready, the boys were in a great place for me, and again, it's all about leaving the jersey in a better place. So something that means like the most to me is the boys. This actually got given to me by one of the guys. So they won it. I got my own medal anyway, but this got given to me straight after the game because they knew, you know, like I wanted to be there, couldn't, but that's just rugby, you know, and I think it talks to that whole team aspect. You don't have to be on the field all the time to be a part of it, and I think that's what we love about our game. Bonjour à tous, je vous présente mon petit trophy là. Hello everyone, I just want to present my little trophy I got here. Actually, the best player in the top 14 in my first season. First year that I went across after the hurricane season, my last hurricane season. And this means a lot to me because obviously made a big decision to leave. You know, the All Blacks is obviously the pinnacle of anyone's career, but obviously there was opportunities to go further myself, obviously financially for my family and the rest. And so I chose to do that. But deep down, you always want to make sure you're going and still in form, earn your place, all that kind of stuff. And so France is a different beast. Like, you know, you've really got to earn your stripes there. You know, we talk about it here, but over there, if you're a foreigner, you come as an All Black, hey, they've got their own, you know, they've got their own beliefs, their own pride. They don't want to be getting told what to do by an All Black. You know, you've actually got to, you just got to hunker down and do the dirty yards with them. And to be honest, I think that's what this award is, just why this award means so much to me. I think the fact that I won it in France, spoke a bit of French, it just gave me a bit more clout with the boys and letting them actually listen to some of the advice that I had, even the coaching staff. Everything just changed because once I got acknowledged in this award, it kind of let them know that I was safe, I was accepted, I was good enough to be there. But then also it confirmed to me that the decision to bring my family all this way or across the other side of the world, I was still worthy and all the rest of it. Like, I was still playing awesome rugby. So personally meant a lot, but then also for my team and the ability to have influence, I think it just made a massive difference. Over here we have the Bled. Obviously played for this one a few times. Obviously we won all those, but one story that really sticks out for me, I guess, momentous match for me, 2015. We had won the first one, the first game. The second game actually was in Sydney. I didn't play that one, and then we lost. And this is gonna be the next game was gonna be the last game before the World Cup, which was at Eden Park. And then for some reason, they just said, Victor, you're gonna be starting. And I knew that this is pretty much my do or die moment, because we had Jerome, we had Kieran, we had Richie, we had all these guys pretty much locked in. We had Liam as well. And I was just thinking, well, obviously it's my sink or swim moment. And I think in Eden Park, I probably played, for this game in particular, just before the World Cup, my best game that I've ever played in the black jersey. Just really, man, it was, and to actually obviously win this was amazing, but I knew that once I'd played that game, I all but booked my ticket or my opportunity, at least put my best foot forward to go to the World Cup. And obviously the rest is history, but this cup here means so much with the history, obviously, between our two nations. They haven't obviously won it for a long, long time, but that doesn't change the fact that every time that we play, it's not like we're defending it, we're actually going out to win it again. You know, it's in the middle of the field, you got to show your stuff, and that's the way that you got to approach any of these big games. You got to go out and win it again, and I'm just proud that we were able to do that every time we stepped out. So here I have my New Zealand Sevens jersey. Yeah, and this one, the reason why this is so special is, well, I think pretty much, so there's a game, we won the World Series that year in 2007-2008 season. But in particular, there was a game that we had in Wellington. Obviously, I'm a Wellington boy, and we had Samoa in the final, and I scored a couple of tries. I scored the match-winning try. And I think, obviously, back in the day, Wellington Sevens was like party central. Things have changed, obviously, it's not even there anymore. But the crowd just went off. I was crying, I was praying to God. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know how to celebrate properly. But man, I was just so grateful for that moment. But also, that game put me, put the spotlight, right on me in terms of 15s coaches all of a sudden being like, yep, we need to pull you out. We're going to put you into specializing again in 15s. Jamie Joseph called me up. He said, mate, we need to harden you up pretty much. He's like, you're soft. We need to freaking harden you up. And he wasn't wrong. And I think if it wasn't for that game in particular, but sevens as well, you know, like the hard trainings you do with Titch, teaching you how to push past paint barriers that you never thought you had, just taught me a lot about myself, but then also just about how to stay expansive in the game, be attacking, all that sort of stuff as well. So putting me on the map was one of the big things why this team I'll always be grateful for. Like the one game in particular that I remember obviously was the final in Wellington. Scored a couple of tries, and I remember the first try, like we've been attacking a little bit, putting some phases together, and I was out on the wing and just we weren't really getting anywhere. And I remember DJ spreading the ball, then it got to Zah, then Zah threw a massive long ball out to me, and I caught it on the wing, and I was like, well, one thing that Titch always told me was, I always told Jonah, just have a go, have a go, have a go. And I was like, well, frick, if I want to be like the best guy to ever do it, I'm just going to have a go. So had a go, had Pesamio coming. He was quick, so he caught up to me. I fended him. He came back again, and then Wale Mai came out of nowhere to cover. And I don't know, like I'm not a bump off guy. Like that's not my thing. I always try and fend, but yeah, ended up just bumping him off. Pesamio fell behind me or something. And man, I was actually surprised. Like I stayed in. There was a little moment where I was like, wait, I'm still on my feet. And then I was like, carried on running through, scored the try, and I was pumped. Like, it was just an awesome moment for our team. Samoa replied not long after, and then get to the last minute of the game, we set up a play where basically Tamasi Tamo was gonna do a little move in the middle, bring it back, switch it out to the left while I was waiting, and basically, yeah, getting that last pass and then running around Felicia, I think it was, and then, yeah, it just, man, it was a team move that was scripted how many times, practiced how many times for it to actually work on the big stage, to win the match in front of my home crowd. Man, that night was a mean party, that's all I want to say. It was awesome.